Good morning, guys. Hello. Feels like we're right back in the saddle for the regular season, but not quite yet. We got a lot of work to do until then. This has been for us coming off of what we came off of last year, accepting it, acknowledging it. It feels really, really gritty out there right now. There's a lot of competition between groups, inside of the groups, offensive side of the ball, defensive side of the ball. From a personnel standpoint, I think we've taken some huge steps in getting us to where we need to be. But all in all, man, it's been a good start to camp. We've had a lot of reps. It's been physical. The pads came on, so we're really, really excited to see that. And this week, in general, the second week of camp is when we start to see the separation. Not just between, skill, but it's also the mental separation that starts to happen. Some guys start not feeling quite as well as others. And then now we can really see when the physicality comes into it, who are the guys that are going to separate themselves from schematical standpoint, physical standpoint, mental standpoint. And we're starting to see that unfold. So it's been a great start to camp. We're really, really excited about where we are. But we know we have a long way to go to get to where we need to be.
Can we start with Job? Obviously, he got his extension. I don't know if it's officially signed yet, but he's back. He was back on the field yesterday. You were in the room with him, for a couple years. Gibbs? Yeah, right. Maybe you can speak to the progress he's made as a player, what this means, to get him under contract, just on a personal level, to see him, reap some rewards.
Yeah, it's a really, really big deal. There is a movie, and some of you guys are not going to get this, and some people will get this. There's a movie, and the original movie was Friday, but there was an uncle, and his name was Elroy, and he won the lottery, right? And his other brother, Willie, probably worked harder, did everything right, and was really upset with Elroy because he didn't get the lottery. He didn't win it, and Elroy won it, and he moved to the suburbs, and it was all great. So there's always this, if you don't earn something between brothers or family members, it's always like he's lucky. He didn't. This is one of those situations that since he got here, he earned it. So the feeling that we have, for him is one of those feelings where we're happy for, of course, our organization. We're happy for the city. We're also happy for him. He came in from day one and did everything we asked him to do. He is what a pro should be, having to be put in that position in the spotlight from day one, the expectations. Some people might have thought that he was drafted in haste, and now him having to deal with that and listen to that, sometimes that can have a real effect on the mental for some of those guys. But with him, man, he is the exact opposite of Uncle Elroy. If I did have a little brother, I would be really, really happy to be a part of his family, and I am now, and to see where he's, when he's been able to come from, and just the protection, the route running. Everybody knows he's an unbelievable ball carrier. But the mental part that goes in with all of it and handling his business as a professional, I hope a lot of kids, a lot of people are watching the way that he went about the process and going from year one to year two to year three and continually to getting better, but still having that same chip on his shoulder, coming from Georgia Tech to Alabama and to where we are now of not being quite good enough. And then now he has to remind himself, and we have to do a good job as coaches to make sure that he understands that nothing's changed. His financial situation has changed, but the person, what it's going to take for us to get to where we need to get to, none of that has changed. So we got to make sure that he's aware of that, and we're all aware of that. And it just feels really good that the right brother won and did things the right way, and is getting rewarded for what he's been able to put together.
He's going to be a bell cow for you this year. I think we all saw the workload. Do you have any concerns about the uptick in workload, if there is one for him, and what that means for his body and his ability to handle that?
Yeah, we're always concerned, physically for all of our players. I got a concern about Saint going to hit safeties. And so all of us have, a lot on our plate, but that's up to us to manage it. We'll do a good job of managing the way, he touches it. And a bell cow in some situations, you hear bell cow in 2001, 2002, 2003, that means 40 carries. But when you got a guy like Ja, you can be a bell cow and touch it 10 times and have 200 total yards, and that's still a bell cow. So there's different ways to look at that. We just need him to be impactful with and without the football. We'll maintain everything else. Coach has a good plan for that. But, he's earned it. He's earned the right to run out first. He's earned the right to carry the ball in certain situations, and then to be able to make plays in third down situations. So if you do have a bell cow, a lot of people think about that just turning around and handing the ball to that player. But this is a player that can be a bell cow on third down without turning around and handing it to him. He can go play at the receiver position. He can play at the wing position. He can play at the back. So there's a lot that he can do.
Several months into this and now kind of into the heart of fitting scheme to personnel. What have you enjoyed about working with Drew?
Wow, just the overall collective that, none of us are as smart as all of us. Really, he has done a really good job of coming in and understanding that we are extremely talented. We have, whether that be on the player side or the coaching side, and he also understands his talents coming in. So his ability to spread the ball out evenly to start this camp, we've seen growth in certain players that we needed to see, and then we've seen guys that we really didn't know much about be able to flourish a little bit in this, not only in the environment, but also in this offense. And it has a lot to do with a lot of the rooms that we have and the way we put it together. But, man, he does a fantastic job in the installation schedule when we're installing with our guys, making sure that everybody feels that they're a part of this install. He is a great communicator. He can articulate an idea and make it, to a point of where there may be 10, 15 people in the room, but you got to reach all 15. You can't just reach one or two or three or four. And he's doing a really good job of reaching not only the players but the coaches and using the expertise of different coaches and just shining it up. And he's doing a really good job.
Do you have any observations of Jared and Amon-Ra, given the consistency, given the relationship, about how they are basically the most consistent tandem, 5 years running? Anything, that stands out to you about how they keep doing it?
Yeah, routine. Their routine. If you watch, Amon-Ra at the if you're watching Saint in the beginning of practice, there's a routine that goes through it, like his catching routine. If you watch JG, there's a throwing routine. If you watch us in RVAs, there is a throwing routine. These guys, their timing is correct, but their off the field relationship also gives us an opportunity that a lot of people don't have. The communication between the two of them is probably what makes them as consistent as they are. There's certain things, and there's nonverbal communication that happen between them now because of where we are in the offense, where they are in their relationship away from the building. There's things that I'm like, who said that? Who's doing that? And it's in the middle of the play, and they're both on the same page. The ball's on the outside shoulder or slowing outside, protecting him from an interior player when we hadn't even talked about that. But they both know through experience and routine and making sure that they're doing everything exactly the same way. We're trying to make everything we do look exactly the same until it's not, and they do a good job of that.
How remarkable is that to have the unspoken communication click so often? And
I think it's very important, and mostly, when you come to slots, when you get slot receivers and he can play inside and out. So, but when he's in that slot role, the timing is so critical. The detail is so critical. The spaces are so tight. You can't have a false step. JG can't hit his back foot and hitch twice. If he needs to hitch once and get it out, that's what he has to do. And in that role, when we're in those situations, those criticals, they get it right. Outside receivers, there's a little bit of a release time. There's a little bit of things that can go on out there on the edge, and he's reading. But when you're in the slot, man, the decisions have to be made so quick. There's so many options that go on with the route running that happens there. JG absolutely has to know everything that he's doing, and it is very, very remarkable for them to be able to complete like some of the passes that they're doing right now.
Shown a big kind of leap in contested catchability. Can you just give us your perspective on what kind of work went in behind the scenes to make that happen?
Yeah, when we left the season, man, we were, our mind was made up. We do have action plans that are given to each player. He came to me, and we talked about the different things. You may hear me saying checkpoint on the field. And checkpoint A, B, and C are just different checkpoints in where we're catching the football. We've really worked on the checkpoint that is A, which is way out in front. Once it gets to B, that's when we start talking about the 50-50. And then once it gets all the way into the body, there is no extra chance to catch the ball. So what we've tried to do is extend his checkpoint. And you see him probably snatching a lot more balls right now out away from his body. But what it does is when you get to checkpoint A and you can see it, it makes some of those checkpoint C catches a little bit easier to make. If you catch it late, now your eyes are working and your hands are working a little bit better. But we've really tried to work those checkpoints. And then the other part that we've tried to make him understand is that, listen, separation is one thing, but when we get in really tight areas, the separation is going to be reduced because we can't run away from everybody, right? We can't always be the quickest guy to get out of our breaks like some of the slots, but what we can do is get our checkpoints and our catches and our body positioning. He's really did a good job, not only since we started in the spring, but even before, of changing some of his body positions, closing his back shoulder on some catches, maybe pushing back on receivers, down the field throws in 23 and 24. One of the things I watched about him is that once his speed and, momentum got moving, we didn't get enough PIs because we were running through the catch instead of jumping back into the catch. And now with his body being stronger, and he's done a good job physically, he's able to create a little bit more contact and the catch, or at least contact to where we will get hopefully a few more PIs than we've received in the last couple years. And I'm gonna let that go.
Hey, Scottie, is Tesla's action plan, and where do you see his growth?
Yeah, so, we're really still working. There's no doubt about that. Separation was one of the deals, but when some people hear separation, they think that it's all quickness and movement. Yes, that's a part of it. But when you're 6'3", 200 and whatever pounds, the other part that you're able to separate on is the physicality and route running. So now we've tried to build both of those together so that his changeup is one thing one day, and then his fastball is another day. So if we can continue to build that, his catch points are crazy, though. He makes plays with the ball. Now, as the number 3, where he's working in this role to try to become this great player in that 3 role, one of the things he has to understand is we're going to see a lot of 77 double. We're going to see a lot of double Jamo, double Saint, or double Laporta, double Gibby. And now you're going to be on a 3 corner. Third corner, and you have to create separation, whether that be with size or whether that be with quickness. So a lot of those situations are going to happen for him. We're looking forward to see where he's going to go.
Scottie, you've been on the staff for a few years now, but last year was your first one taking over the wide receivers. You have familiarity with those guys, but how much stronger would you say the bond is between you and the guys in that room now heading into this season?
Oh, man, I think that, when I first came into the room, I had a great relationship with him. From a football standpoint. Now it's personal, right? Now it's, I know the children, I know the mothers, I know the fiancés, I know a lot of the other people that are connected to it, so it makes a big deal. We also, had a chance to go play golf. So there's things in there that, when you're building those relationships and those just the competitive nature that you get to see from different guys. Saint hates to lose, okay? He absolutely hates to lose. So all these things that you get to see when we go into the meeting room, we're looking at each other eye to eye a little bit different. They know that I have absolutely their best professional interests, which they knew that last year. Now they know that I also have their best personal interests. So it's been a great deal. I'm glad that I'm in the room. I do miss our backs. The ones that are still, here that I had the ability to coach. So, that's always tough. But the personal part of it became really special this offseason for me with the wideouts.
Back to Jahmyr real fast. You've had a front row seat to his development here, and you've played a big part in it yourself. On the field, where have you seen his game grow the most since he entered the NFL in 2023?
Okay, so let me back up. Let me attack something that you said. I have seen his development, and I've been a major part of it. I don't know that part to be true. I will say his genetics, his family. If you give me a player like that, I can get that player better, right? So that's what happened with that. But what I've really seen in him, his first year coming in, you have to realize when you're in college football, protections are probably the least of worries in college football. You got spacing, right? If you pressure guys in college with the hashes and different things, you can get balls out hot. You don't want to let him get in space. Well, in this league, you got backers that can actually cover. You got safeties that can actually cover the speed type. So when you add the protection piece into it, it's critical. Like we came into, I believe, the first training camp practice, I think we were between 12 and 14 protections for a back. 12 to 14 protections, and understanding all the rules, whether it's +1, -1, +2 on the front side. I'm on the back side. I got 4 and 5, whether it's the front side safety, backside safety. Usually for backs, that comes in year 2, 3 when they get it all. He was pretty good at that in year 1. Now we're in year 3, year 4. The installation for him, he's just looking at it like, oh, okay, I got it. No, I'm front side of this. Oh, no, I'm back. Hey, coach. And he's coaching the other players finally, right? We all looked at him like he's still, I don't even know he's 23 years old. What is he right now? 22, 23, somewhere in there. He's young, 24. That's crazy. I'm just thinking about that. Now he's coaching our guys that a lot of them are older than him. I mean, he's in the room with some guys that are older than him that haven't played quite as much. So I think that's the part that we're really, really excited about, his growth as a leader. So now it's time for him to take that step that we saw Saint take a few years back. We've seen Jack Campbell take that step defensively. Now it's time for us to see that next step of leadership, which we believe that he can do.